Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. So first up, if you haven't seen my most recent deck tech on Greven Predator Captain, make sure you check that episode out first.
Get to the chopper! Do it now!
Sorry, had to do that, but very relevant for the Predator Captain. Anyways, if you've already seen that episode, congratulations, you're in the right place because this is the Break the Bank. So on this episode, we're gonna up the budget of the deck to $100, which yes, is out of my normal budget range. And like that deck tech, this Break the Bank comes to you courtesy of Liam, who's been supporting this channel as a Golden Pig tier patron. I truly couldn't do this without the support from amazing patrons like Liam, so again, Liam, thank you so much. Now, before we jump into the upgrades that we're adding into this deck and the cards that we're taking out for those upgrades, let's just go over the commander really quickly as a reminder. Greven is a 5/5 human warrior with menace that costs 3 black-red. Greven Predator Captain gets +X/+0, where X the amount of life you've lost this turn. And whenever Greven attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, and you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. So essentially, by losing a lot of life, you can pump Greven easily to become a one-shot kill. And in the process, you can sacrifice creatures and draw a bunch of cards while losing some more life. Regardless if you've seen the deck tech already, you know all that. And if you haven't seen the deck tech yet, what are you doing? I told you earlier to go see it first, so go do that, okay? Then come back. All right? On the same page? Let's jump into it. So first up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble. Ah, that feels really good to say. Wayfarer's Bauble is an artifact for 1 that has pay 2 and tap it, sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. This is a fantastic source of land ramp for any deck. And unfortunately, though when this channel started this card was only 12 cents, it hasn't seen an actual reprint since then. And no, the list does not count as an actual reprint, okay? Anyways, because of that, this card is currently $3.22. So yeah, quite the increase from 12 cents. But with our upgraded Break the Bank budget, of course we can include it. But of course, as always, Wizards, please reprint Wayfarer's Bauble. Next up, let's talk about 2 more artifacts with Lightning Greaves and Whispersoul Cloak. Lightning Greaves is an equipment that costs 2, and it's got equipped creature as haste and shroud, and its equip cost is 0, so nothing. Being able to give Greven haste and shroud right away for nothing is really fantastic. This makes it so Greven can take out opponents really quickly and also be really hard to deal with. So yeah, this nearly $6 addition is well worth it for this upgraded budget. And then Whispersoul Cloak is yet another equipment we're going to be adding in, and this one is quite cheaper at $2.53. It costs 3 and it costs 2 to equip, and it says equipped creature can't be blocked and has shroud. So again, like the Greaves, this is going to give Shroud, which again is a fantastic way to protect Greven. And though Greven does have Menace, which can help get it through, this just guarantees that Greven's getting through by making it unblockable. So yeah, when this is in play and attached to our commander, our opponents will be very, very, very scared. Especially when we've got cards to gain us back a lot of life with things like Shadow Spear and Whip of Erebos. Though it's just 1 mana, Shadow Spear does a lot for you, and yeah, that's probably why it's around $9. It has equipped 2, and equipped creature gets ++1 and has trample and lifelink. On top of that, by paying 1, permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So first up, this 1 mana equipment can make Greven more powerful, help him get more damage through, and also gain us back a lot of life. And on top of that, we can utilize this to make our opponent's hexproof and indestructible just go away. So it not only helps our commander, but also helps us deal with our opponent's things. Yeah, again, there's a reason it's around $9 these days. And then next, let's move on to Whip of Erebos, which is around $6.32. It's a legendary enchantment artifact that costs 2 black, and it says creatures you control have lifelink. On top of that, by paying 2 black, we can tap it to return target creature card from our graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step. If it would leave the battlefield, exile instead of putting it anywhere else. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. So first up again, giving our commander lifelink is huge for this deck. We're going to be paying out a ton of life to pump our commander, so getting a lot of life back is very important. And again, on top of that, when we swing with our commander, we can sacrifice creatures to draw cards. So this can help us get those creatures back so we can sacrifice them again to draw even more cards. But now let's move on and talk about some cards that can help us control the board. First up, there's Chandra's Ignition, which costs $6.79. It says target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. So yeah, with Greven, this can not only wipe out our opponent's creatures, but it can wipe them out as well. There are plenty of ways for this deck to pump Greven up to more than our opponent's life totals, so goodbye opponents. But next up, let's talk about Fire Covenant, which comes in at $4.31. And it's a very old card, so I'm going to read the Oracle text, which says, as it will cost to cast this spell, pay X life. Fire Covenant deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures. So with this, we can pay as much life as we need to essentially, pump Greven to an absurd amount. And while doing that, we can utilize the life that we paid to dish out a lot of damage to whatever creatures we want. So we can wipe out some key creatures, including our opponent's blockers, and then that opponent we swing at is going to be very dead. And then a somewhat similar, and again very old card, is Phyrexian Purge, which is nearly $9. Its Oracle text reads, this spell costs 3 life more to cast for each target, destroy any number of target creatures. So again, we can pay a lot of life, wipe out a lot of creatures, and get Greven through for lethal. And speaking of paying a lot of life, let's talk about some other cards that can help us do that with Treasonous Ogre, Doom Whisperer, and Bolas' Citadel. Treasonous Ogre has Dethrone, which is nice, but not all that necessary. The important part is that it has pay 3 life at red to your mana pool. So again, paying life is actually a good thing for this deck because when we do, we pump Greven. And by doing this with Treasonous Ogre, we can gain a lot of mana in the process and utilize that to cast a lot of spells. At $4.22, this is a great addition to our higher budget deck. And next up is the slightly more expensive Doom Whisperer at nearly $5. It's a 6/6 Nightmare Demon with Flying and Trample for just 5 mana. But on top of that, it has pay 2 life Surveil too. So essentially to do that, we look at the top 2 cards of our library, then we put any number of them into our graveyard and the rest on the top of our library in any order. Basically, this is an improved version of Scry that gets cards into our graveyard instead of on the bottom. Regardless, this is a fantastic way to churn through our deck to look for the exact card that we need for the situation that we're in, and while doing that, we lose a lot of life to pump our commander. So yeah, this card can be pretty fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, of course we've got to talk about Bolas' Citadel, which is an $8 card. It's a legendary artifact for 3 black, and it says you may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play the top card of your library if you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. And if we really need to, we can tap it and sacrifice 10 non-land permanents and each opponent loses 10 life. Now the important part about this card though is, yeah, being able to cast cards off the top of our library for free. Okay, essentially not free, but we do use life instead of mana, and again, with this deck, that's exactly what we want to do. So we can keep casting spell after spell at the top of our library, losing more and more life and pumping our commander further. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And again, if our opponents are really low in life and we've got 10 non-land permanents in play, we can tap this, sacrifice those, and each opponent just basically loses. So there's that option as well. And finally, with this upgraded budget, we're also going to be adding in a land, which is Witch's Clinic. This new land is already $2.41, and it has tap added colorless and pay 2 and tap. Target commander gains lifelink until end of turn. Again, gaining life with our commander is very important for this deck. So a land that can do this while essentially not taking up a slot in our deck, because again it's a land, is a fantastic inclusion. But now to add all these cards in, what cards are we going to be taking out? First up, we're going to be taking out Hedron Archive, which isn't a bad mana rock, it's just not nearly as good as Wayfarer's Bauble, which is, just the best card of all time. Anyways, next up we're going to be taking out 2 pieces of equipment with Flyhaven Kitesail and Wings of Hubris. With our new additions, we've just got better ways of getting our commander through. Speaking of which, we also have much better ways to gain life than things like Butcher's Cleaver and Poet's Quill. So although these are effective cards in their own right, they're not quite as effective as the cards we're adding in. And next up, we also added in some new and spicy Wraths, so we're also going to be taking out Hex, Starstorm, and Storm's Wrath. Again, with all these subtractions, these aren't bad cards, we're just taking them out because we've got better options with an upgraded budget. So we're also going to take out some Life Loss cards with Blood Celebrant, Deepwood Ghoul, and Ambition's Cost. The Life Loss cards that we added in just give us more value. And finally, because we added in a land, we're also taking out a land, and we're going to take out a mountain. If you're looking to play this deck, consider joining the amazing PlayEDH Discord. It's a great way to play Commander over webcam. In the description below, you'll find their Discord invite link as well as the tier that this deck has been approved at next to the deck list. So if you want to pick it up and play it as is, you can, and be sure to read their welcome information for more details. And with that, this show is coming to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts on this episode are, and as always, thanks again and have a good one.